Want to get access to mid to late game quality troops at the beginning of the game? We'll find out more as we explore a strategy guide for Rome Total War, the board game. Hi, thanks for joining us again, everybody. Are you bored through? We're bored through. And here at Board Through, we're all about the gameplay. And last time, what we were doing is we were exploring a strategy called the Sky, which is where you move your armies right across the top of the board along these regions up here. One, to be able to take advantage of the coin benefit that gives you. It's out of the way, especially if you're playing as the barbarians. It's very unlikely that anyone's going to go up that far, but in particular you can take advantage of moving across here so you can get access to some regions which are very, very highly sought after, or at least any good strategist would realize just how well sought after these should be. And that is the mercenary regions up in the northeast corner of the map board. And in particular, you can see that in order to conquer those regions, there's lots of yellow and red dice, and so that to me is representing a lot of heat, and that's why I'm calling this the sun. So what you want to do is when you get out onto the board is you want to make a grab for the sun. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the cards, some of the unit cards that you'll be able to get access to if you can get yourself out there early. So in particular, I'm thinking for the Greeks first of all. So if Greece can get its army out, it can do this in the very first turn. It can move straight into here, and they're able to get access to a couple of cards actually. So there's the Thracian Runferrymen, I'm sure I've just butchered that, and the Thracian Cavalry. So as you can see, the foot unit here, it's a very expensive unit, but just take a look at the dice that they are rolling with. And in particular, basically, they will destroy any infantry unit that they come into contact with. So they're definitely one that you want to have in the early game, even though they are very, very expensive. At the other side as well is you've got the Thracian Cavalry. These could be great for supplementing some of your lines as well. They're relatively cheap. Their dice are not particularly great, but their S effect is really, really good. So as you can see, that if you're attacking in good going against an infantry unit, whether that is a skirmish unit or an infantry unit, then they'll be able to take them out no problem. So a really good one for Greece to go for early on. Definitely don't want to leave that to any other faction that could come in. But in a later video, I'm going to show you a strategy as to just how Carthage and Rome might be able to do something like that. If you go a little bit further north, this is one that I would expect to be hotly contested by the Greeks and by the barbarians. So just to show you what that would look like. So if the Greeks have come up into here, they might then want to make a move over here. Of course, the Greeks can also get the opportunity to go up into here if they miss out on this opportunity. But at the same time, let me show you just how quickly a barbarian army can actually move to there. So in particular, as you can see, starting off from this home region here, they can go 1, 2 and 3. They can actually be there in the very first turn. They can't get access to the other region that is sitting over here, not even if they've got a forced march card. They need to have 2 cards in order to do that. So this is going to be a really hotly contested region here. And in particular, if you do decide to contest it, let me show you the prize that you can get for yourself. So if you do go for that, that'll give you access to the Dacian Phalanxmen. And again, take a look at the strength of those cards. Very expensive unit. The dice are pretty good. In particular, it's a really great unit if you're fighting in terrain, and in particular, this is going to be really useful for Greece. This is going to be really useful for the barbarians who are maybe want to take on the Romans, for example. Because you can also see here that the S effect is again just going to melt away any infantry units. But that red dice, when taking on units in in the terrain is just an absolute killer. If you want to go a little bit further north, that's going to give you access to the Scythian Horsemen. They're quite a cheap unit. Their dice are kind of okay. Each of the factions that might want to go for this might be able to raise better units, but in particular for the barbarians, where it's a development that they have to work into, this might be a great way, first of all, to get started. But in particular, where this comes alive is if you take a look at the S effect. So it will halt any infantry unit, which is a really interesting effect. And in particular, where you think about Greece and you think about the barbarians, very infantry heavy. So if they've got defensive units, then that's going to go a long way. The Romans have quite a lot of units that are just like that. Their legionnaires are just like that. So these guys will just stop them in their tracks. So really good ones to take along in your army. But you can also see that it will also kill any infantry unit and chariots. So that's going to be really great to use against the barbarians. So if you find yourself in a situation as the Greeks, where if we go back to the map board here, if you find yourself in a situation as the Greeks, where the barbarians have managed to come into here, they've managed to clinch this region because maybe they went first, then absolutely it would be a great strategy to then move up to here and grab that region and grab those horse archers, because they'll do very handy against the barbarians' chariots. The final region is all the way up here to the north, and again you're going to have another land grab that is going to take place between the barbarians and the Greeks. And it depends exactly who's going where as to what's going to be the way you get there, but it takes about the same for each of them. And if they do want to move up north, then what they're going to get access to are the Sarmatian Lancers. Again, a very expensive unit. The dice are kind of okay, particularly in good going, but again it's the S effect that you're really interested in here. They will take out any infantry unit, any cavalry unit, and any chariots as well. So a great one to go for if you're willing to take the time and to go all the way that far north. You can get access to some really great units. I just wanted to remind you as well, guys, that you don't just have to go there with your armies. What you're able to do is that if you're able to move your agent out into one of these regions, then they would be able to supply armies up to 4 regions away, provided that you've got the right action card to be able to do that. So if you're coming out the gate and you can see in your hand that you've got an action card that allows you to recruit mercenaries from 4 regions away, then get one of your agents over there as well. This is something that also the Carthaginian and the Roman players should think about. So as you can see here, if we started here, you can go 1, 2 and 3, 4. So that's going to get you started so that in the next turn you can go up here and you'll be able to recruit into these regions. As for the Carthaginians, let me show you what that could look like. The shortest movement is possibly going to be from here, going 1, 2, 3, and then up into here, and you can go over here for a 4th. The only thing is just making sure that you're within 4 regions of being able to supply an army. So maybe not quite as useful for the Carthaginians, but that's all about the openings that you actually use. So you can see the value of the sun, certainly, why it was a really great a set of regions to go for in the early game, for the advantages that it gives you in terms of being able to recruit into those armies. If you do manage to go up into there, what I'd absolutely recommend you do is make sure that you build your walls, and make sure that you build your barracks as well. The barracks will allow you also to be able to to field armies. If one gets destroyed, taken off the board, or you haven't put one out yet, you've got the opportunity that you can move one of your armies up into there, and you can actually raise the army there. And wouldn't it be great to raise an army straight into that region and have the opportunity to be able to buy mercenaries straight off of the bat, then be able to move north, south, east, west, wherever it is that you need to go. This is a fantastic set of regions to go for, and one that any faction should really be aiming at. If you're wondering how it is that the Carthaginians can, and the Romans in fact, could really take advantage of this, what I'd recommend you do is that you actually raise a fleet down here for one, raise a fleet down here, board for 1, 2, 3 and 4. So you can move a navy up to here, so that in the next turn you can field one of your armies and you could land it down here and take Thrace. You could also land it up here and then either move north or to the west, because that'll give you some really great access here. Like I say, you can move north or to the west, and they would be able to take advantage of that there, so they can capture those regions. You've got to be really careful though, because you're not going to be able to resupply if you do that. So it might be what you want to do is you come up here, you take one of these regions, then hire in your mercenaries, and then from there you then move your army back again, so that you come back down to the south. Just a suggestion, a bit of a risky strategy though, because there's definitely the risk that you don't manage to get resupplied, and that you might end up getting cut off by the Greeks, who are waiting for you to come back down into here with a boat full of lovely soldiers for them to sink. So that's been the Sun strategy. Let me know in the comment section if this is something that you've tried before. Which factions do you think are able to take advantage of this the best? Also, let me know how you're interpreting the rules in terms of being able to resupply from these regions as well. So you need to have a line of communication, but do you need to have a line of communication also going back to these regions if you want to hire more mercenaries, or is it that once you actually leave this region you're not able to hire the mercenaries at all? I wasn't very clear on that in the rules, so it'd be great if we can get some conversation going, just to see what everybody is reading there. But thanks for tuning in. Please give this video a like to let me know if I'm doing a good job. If you feel like subscribing so that you can get these videos sent to your feed, then that would be awesome as well. And if you're feeling really generous, why don't you share this video with a friend? But if you want to keep it to yourself so you can use this against them, then that's all right as well. So that's all from me here at Board Through. Thanks for tuning in, and ciao for now.